Now, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made a fresh bid to calm mounting anger over examination paper leaks as students prepare for nationwide protests on Friday. He's posted a rare video message on his X account saying the leaks are not a trivial matter and extremely painful for many students and their families. The video address came as crowds continue to swell around the main protest site in New Delhi, led by a group known as the Cockroach Janta Party.
Fast-track court.
The departments have worked hard and gave me a draft legislation late in the night. The draft legislation has provisions for fast-track courts and harsh punishment. It will be discussed in the cabinet, and after taking suggestions from them, a final version will be ready. And on Monday, when the session starts, we will try to get the bill passed as quickly as possible.
Let's go to Mumbai for more on this. Bloomberg senior India editor Menika Doshi joining us. So, Menika, considering that Narendra Modi put out that message at about midnight, it does seem that the protesters might have shaken his confidence a little.
Well, it does seem like that. The Prime Minister finally broke his silence yesterday after days of tens of thousands of students gathering in the streets of Delhi and then on the streets of many other cities across India. But the commentary from the Prime Minister, empathetic but also perfunctory. He has not directly addressed the protesters' demands, but he has spoken of working to bring to justice quickly those found guilty of leaking exam papers and also speaking to exam stress and education policy in the country. This is not a sign that the protesters are going to back down. In fact, so far we've heard that the protests continue. And what a week it has been, Paul. A week that is a reminder of what democratic dissent means, but that has also raised questions around the economy, because really at the heart of these protests are economic opportunities that are lacking for young people in India. To talk about the implications of this long protest, this student protest, I'm joined by Rahul Verma, fellow at the Center for Policy Research. Rahul, it's been many days of watching students from across different castes, classes, religions, and aspects of society come together in this rather spontaneous fashion to protest not just the examination system, but now a wide range of issues. What stood out the most for you in these past few days?
Inka, for having me first. I think there are a couple of things we need to watch out. First point is that in last 12 years of Modi government, we have seen multiple protests. So every 2 or 3 years, this government has seen big mobilization. But what is different this time is that in previous iterations of protests, those were all either on policy differences or on ideological differences. And so every time the government had a counter narrative or counter offensive to deal with the protest. The second, and so this protest is different because it is about administrative failure, about the promise of the state to millions of youth across the country that there will be fair reward of the examination system. So that is not being met. Cockroach Janta Party, which was formed on Instagram, it's in some ways, for 2 to 3 weeks, did not attract any attention. They had called for a march towards the parliament on July 20th, Monday this week. And it is then when we start seeing outpouring of not just students, but their parents and people from across many segments to come and join this anxiety that you rightly pointed out. In some ways, India's youth are not able to see their paths of upward mobility. Competitive exams and exams for systems of higher education remain one of the surest way of upward mobility in a country like India. And if that gets blocked because of examination leaks or other kind of administrative failures, you are bound to see this kind of frustration. And in last 6 to 8 years, we have seen more than 2 examination paper leaks.
Well, Rahul, how do you see this shaping Indian politics over the near and medium term. Everyone I speak to expects it will have no impact on, let's say, the next upcoming election in Uttar Pradesh. But it could reshape both how the opposition takes up important issues, but also how the government sees its own accountability.
Menika, I think the reading about this movement may not have any kind of electoral impact is based on this idea that in past 12 years, the government has seen many protests, but every time it was able to overcome them. And electorally, it didn't make any big dent on their prospects. But I think this movement is different, largely because of the sociology of the protest. A large number of people who are protesting are basically middle classes, upper caste, people who would have usually voted for the BJP. And so in some ways, this is the first big protest that BJP is seeing, which is coming from their own constituency. So that's one. Two, I think all protests at some points to reach a tipping point or cross a threshold. So it may not have like a big impact, say, in UP elections or Gujarat elections next year. But over time, all of these things will start building up. What we must remember that this protest has come at a time when the government is facing headwinds on a lot of other things. For example, there have been allegations of corruptions and theft in the Ram Temple complex. So there is a religious issue involved. There have been allegations of BJP leaders basically helping their relatives in land deals and other kind of things. So there is question of corruption and propriety involved. Then the international environment has become difficult. Oil prices have shot up, so inflation is shooting up. Economic anxiety is building up. So the reason why this protest may have impact on even electoral outcomes, not because of the protest alone, but because this on examination, but this protest is in some ways is able to attract the anxieties and frustrations on many other things as well. And also because it comes from BJP's own core constituency.
All right, Rahul, quick, final, short response to what this means for Prime Minister Modi's popularity, his unprecedented, undented popularity for almost 12 years, with the brief impact of the last election. But here are young students on the streets of Mumbai, pointing a finger directly at him.
So brief response would be, I think Prime Minister Modi continues to remain very, very popular. This moment presents another opportunity for him to renew his sort of like popularity in that sense and renew his legitimacy in that sense. In 2024, BJP did suffer some losses and there is an opportunity here. If the government does not engages with the protest in the right manner, it might dent their popularity.